For this effect, I would explain to the participant that I'm going to take out three prediction cards. So there's the first prediction, here's the second prediction, and this third prediction is going to be a secret right there. So now as you can see, first prediction, second prediction, third prediction. What we're going to do here is the following. I'm going to start dealing cards on the table, and at any time the participant can call out stop. So let's say as I start dealing, that the participant calls out stop. They can place my first prediction face up, and the rest of the cards go on top. So now I would explain to the participant that they're going to call out stop one more time, but it's going to be before we get to the first prediction. So try to call stop somewhere before the king. So let's say as ideal that they call out stop. Let's say here we place the Aiden and the rest of the cards go on top. So now we're going to spread to my two predictions that we have. So we're first going to take out the King of Hearts here with the card on top of it. We're now going to go to that Eight of Spades right here. And then we have my third prediction. So keep in mind, the cards were cut, and you could have called out stop anywhere for the king, but right where you called out stop, you landed with the other red king. But wait, there's actually more. With the eight of spades, you called out stop anywhere, and you landed with the eight of clubs. But what about my secret prediction? It was the ace of clubs, and if we turn over the entire packet, you can see we have one ace, two ace, and three ace, just like that. So, this is the effect for today. If you would like to learn how to do this, stick around for the tutorial. Before I get into the tutorial, a couple of things I want to cover. First of all, the cards that I'm using are the Autism Speaks. I had won these as part of a giveaway from Ever So Slight. There were two winners. I was one of the winners for a three deck giveaway. I have a deck review on these, so not only will I link that deck review in the description, I will also link Ever So Slight's channel in the description so you can go and subscribe to him. So, some of you may recognize this effect. This is actually a variation of an effect by John Bannon called Trait Secrets. Trait, Trait Secrets, Secrets. So, how do we do this? Well, first of all, there is a setup. So, what you're gonna. Oh, okay. So, the first thing you're gonna wanna do for this effect is you're going to want to decide on what four of a kind you want to use for this effect. In this case, I chose the four aces, but you can really use anything you would like. The four aces aren't necessary. The next thing I did was I took out either the jack, queen, or king. Now, you don't have to do this. You can really use any pairs of cards you would like, but I like to do uh, face cards, number cards, and I like them to be contrasting. Once again, this is not necessary whatsoever. This is totally optional. But your spot cards and number cards cannot come from your four of a kind. So obviously we have aces, red kings, black eights. Once again, you can do two fours, jacks, queens, really anything. and they can be the same color. They don't have to be opposite. So what you're going to do first of all, I think it's easier if you do the last part of the setup. So you're going to take one of your, in this case, face cards. You're then going to take one of your four of a kind, and finally one of your number cards. And you're going to want them in this order. So you're going to pull out the king first, followed by the 8, followed by the ace. So now if we try to follow this order with the other cards, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take an 8, and we're going to take the ace. We're then going to take a king. We're then going to take another ace. We're going to take the 8 and then the last ace. So, really, this is going to be reversed from this, okay? Now, these predictions don't really matter how they're set up. You just want to set up these predictions in a way so when you set up this stack, you can actually get the first prediction here with this first king. So how I did that was I put the king second, so I'm going to use the king as my first prediction. And then when I cut this ace from the deck, I then can line up the eights, and then you have the ace. I hope this is all making sense, but I think once you see the tutorial and then you try to set it up on your own, it'll make sense. So you're going to take this big block and you're going to put it on the top of the deck. You're then going to put these other cards somewhere near the bottom of the deck. I usually do the 10th card, but once again, that's not necessary. They can really go anywhere. However, I just wouldn't have them go anywhere near the top. You don't want to run the risk of flashing this setup. So after you have this, you're all set. So you can start with any false shuffles and or cuts. You just want to keep the stack on top. And you also want to make sure that this bottom stack, that the cards don't come really close to the setup, and you don't want any of your predictions getting interweaved with these cards. So, I start with the deck face up and I explain I'm going to take out a couple of predictions. I'm going to take out the king, I can leave it face up. I'm then going to take out the 8 and I leave that face up. And notice how I leave a big chunk in the middle. Well, this time I say I'm going to make a secret prediction. And just like this, so they see the back of the cards, you're going to take out that ace and leave it face down. So now you turn the cards in your hand face down, and what you need to do really is catch a break under these top two cards. So now this king will get cut to the bottom, setting you up for this king. So how I did that was first, when showing these cards, I did a pinky count. Now, you don't have to do a pinky count. I'll leave a link in the description. You could riffle up with your thumb 2 cards. You could even push off 2 cards, put your pinky in and pull back. And make sure you're misdirecting the audience because you don't want them watching your hand. You could also push off 2 cards, put your pinky in and square up. Either way now, you're going to cut these cards to the bottom. So I did a different type of cut. Instead of just doing a double undercut, which some people may be able to figure out, here's what I did. So with my pinky break, I came right over into thumb break. So I put my middle ring pinky on top, thumb in the back, and now I'm holding a break. I cut half of these cards from the bottom to the top, but I maintain the break. I'm then going to bring this deck down, and when I bring into sort of like a mechanic's grip, I put my pinky in there. So now I'm going to lift up this camera some. I'm going to cut half of these cards above my pinky to the table. So it's going to be like this. I'm then going to cut everything from my pinky to the table. I'm then going to put this bottom half on top of the first half I cut, pick up everything and put that on the last half. So, all that really does is keep the cards in the order, but moves the king to the bottom and keeps your other setup at the top. I will go over that one more time for you. So you have a pinky break. I come over and do thumb break. I will cut about half to the top. I'll keep in the break. I'm then going to come into a mechanic's grip. I then cut about half above the break to the table. The rest that's above my pinky to the table. I then put this half on top of the first half, and then all this on the second half. Now, any way you want to get those cards to the bottom, keeping them in the same order, feel free to do it. You just also want to keep the top half how it's supposed to be. I will leave a link in the description for the double undercut. So now you're going to start dealing and talking and explain that they can call out stop whenever they would like. You want to start dealing and then you want to talk right after because you don't want them to say stop at the first, second, or third card. But after that, they can say stop. Just make sure they're not one of those people that take you right to the bottom. But once they say stop, you put your first prediction face up, and notice how the king now goes with the king. You now pick up the packet and you're going to need to cut this ace to the top of the pack because when you dealt those three cards at the start, because they were on top, they're now on the bottom. So what I do is I catch a break above the bottom card. Feel free to do that however you would like. You could also riffle with your thumb one card, just have some misdirection. With this pinky break, I'm now gonna put my thumb at the back and my fingers sort of off to the side, because now I'm gonna attempt a swing cut. If you don't know how to swing cut, I will leave a link in the description. I'm gonna swing cut. I'm gonna bring these halves over, and just for a split second, I can put my pinky in there, lift up, turn this bottom half, I'll call it, to the side, tap, tap, drop the top half, and then drop the next half. And that's going to cut your 8 to the bottom. So one more time here. So we have the break. I come over into thumb break. I'm going to cut about half. I'm going to line up everything. I'm going to lift up, go tap, tap, drop, then drop. And now if we look, we have the 8 and the ace at the bottom, and then at the top we only have that one ace. And somewhere in the deck we also have the king with the other ace. So now you explain that you want them to call out stop one more time, but before you get somewhere close to the king. Just because you don't want them calling stop at this card, which is the other king, and technically you don't want this next card either, which is the ace, but they could stop it at this card. So let's say you deal and they call out stop right now. You put the 8 face up and the rest goes on top. And now you are all set. You say, okay, let's go and see what we have. You start spreading, and to make this easier, here's what you want to remember. When you get to the first face up card, you want to keep one face down card on top of that face up card and then split the packet. So this packet is going to go down, which is now an ace, but when this king goes down, well, now you're lined up there. And then you spread even more and you do the same thing. You leave one face down card on top of the face up half. You split there, which is now a second ace, leaving the other 8 with the 8. And then this half goes on with the other ace. So now you can say, okay, we cut the cards and you called out stop whenever you wanted. With the king, you found the other king. With the 8, you found the other 8. but I had a secret prediction here since the beginning. It was the ace of clubs. And right at the bottom, okay, don't turn over the top card. Turn over the entire packet to the bottom and show them all three aces. And that is the effect. So I hope you really enjoyed this effect. If you are new here, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you next time with a new effect. Bye.